To love others, you must love yourself. To love yourself, you must deem worthiness. To deem worthiness, you must give yourself value. Value is virtue, one of the many virtues we strive toward. Mother Earth cares for her children when we value the earth, but we are valued as well. Know that we all make a difference. We all have a purpose.
There's a lot of things that changed in my lifetime, The pollution, the water. And I remember when I was a kid, we had a lot of water and there was not much pollution.
We'd like to have as many of the good old days happen here as possible. You name it, it's all here.
I still dream about my home on the reservation. I dream about my house. I used to have dreams and fly up over the river and come land on the hillside, and still my favorite place.
With no forest, there's no Indians, and with no Indians, there's no forest. My organization has worked in partnership with Indigenous peoples to successfully improve the management and protection of 27 million acres of rainforest.
Mother Earth, she gives us value, goals, health, love, success, environmental issues, suggestions, service, peace, wholeness, consciousness, conscience, discovery, excitement, nature, beauty, comfort, compassion, and oneness. If you seem lost and depressed, you have not given yourself direction. You can take small steps and move in a slow direction in any given area of your life. To rectify love, security, money, or career, you are not to run yourself in circles. You are to take but a few directions in life and make steady progress. There are basic guidelines, such as to live up to being a good son or daughter to your parents, live up to forming your education, live up to contributing in your community, live up to taking care of yourself. It is up to you to make a beautiful life. This is your life, and the planet is for you. Mark Plotkin is a Harvard graduate and the president of ACT, Amazon Conservation Team. The first time I ever saw Mark, I felt such greatness in him. I didn't really know anything about him. As the night wore on, I realized he is trying to make a difference with medicine and in the lives of many people.
Much of the future of the rainforest is on indigenous lands. If you look at the Brazilian Amazon, for example, 7% of the Brazilian Amazon is in national parks. Now, for the most part, those are poorly managed, if they're managed or protected at all. 27% is in indigenous lands. So you can save over a quarter of the Amazon just by working with the Indians. With no forest, there's no Indians, and with no Indians, there's no forest. When I was 19, I dropped out of college and took a job as a gopher in a museum at Harvard. And a friend of mine told me there's an incredible course taught by this wonderful old man who went down to the jungle and essentially went native and lived with the Indians, essentially as an Indian, for 14 years. And one lecture from him, and I fell under his sway and decided to devote my life to studying the magic and the secrets of the Amazon rainforest. I'd say that the greatest threat in the Amazon is the loss of the knowledge. But unless we protect these indigenous cultures, this indigenous wisdom, and these plants, it's all going to be lost. And if you think of the rainforest as a library, the indigenous knowledge is the index. It's how you know what things are useful, where they are, how to use them. It's what I think of as biocultural conservation. It's not just protecting the plants. It's not just protecting the Indians. It's a holistic approach. And a Western trained physician who spent some time in the jungle with me said, you know, there's no such thing as incurable diseases. When a physician says it's an incurable disease, it just means he can't cure it, or Western medicine can't cure it. And I've seen some extraordinary things with solutions for fertility problems. So I would look for the holes in our medicine. You know, what do we have trouble with? Well, we can't cure most forms of cancer. We can't deal with certain forms of psychiatric problems. We can't cure diabetes. Certainly we can treat it. So let's see what we can't do and see what these people can do. These people have an advantage over our healers in that they're using compounds for healing, chemicals for healing, what's in the plants, what's in the insects, what's in the animals, like our own physicians do. And they also access the spiritual side, which our physicians don't do. I mean, Western medicine is essentially devoid of spiritual content. So that's why these shamans can sometimes heal things that our own physicians cannot. It's very important to realize shamans can't do everything, but it's equally important to realize that doctors can't do everything either.
I am honored to know Mark as a humanitarian and to call him friend. If humans experience resentment, it stops positive progress. Let go of negativity, overshadow it. With hopes, look outward in your life. There are no bounds except the self-imposed. Only you make or break your life. Take the step to actualize your dreams. We drive into Bob Blackbull's ranch. Bob is very involved in the Blackfoot Buffalo Horse Coalition. We are greeted by 2 herds of horses. They are so gentle and friendly and gather around us to gain more petting and fondling. Bob helps troubled youth and scrapes financially to keep it all going. He's teaching the troubled kids the old ways and having them care for the horses.
This ranch is a very special place where the kids come and they learn love, trust, and respect and the traditional arts. And it's a tough situation. You do what you can do with what we have.
Darling, huh? Yes, you are. My baby girl, huh? I promised your mom I'd take care of you. I will. Is that your big brothers?
The kids that come here, they come out, they learn to ride, they learn to love the horses, to respect the horses and trust the horses and one another. They learn how to teach the younger generation how to do the same thing, how to take care of the elders, how to properly prepare meat, how to do hides, how to make moccasins like I'm wearing and like some of these kids have made.
He's teaching the troubled kids the old ways and having them care for the horses. There are 5 Mustang herds that Bob hopes to release someday on the eastern Montana plains. For now, they live on his 600 acres on the Blackfeet Nation.
The kids that come here, it's everything that's in life. You know, you have kids with major problems, you have kids with absolutely no problems, and we all work and live together, so that's what we have to do. They have a safe place to go, and for me that's everything. We have a creek back here. This is Cutbank Creek, and it runs right through the property. We have some pretty damn nice trout in it, and we have beavers, and we have deer here. We have the mountain lions, which have taken 3 of the horses this year. And people go, why don't you shoot them? Well, you know, they were here before us, number one. They're part of our life. These are our 4-legged brothers and sisters, our winged brothers and sisters. And if you can't respect life on all levels, you can't respect life at all. And the kids are learning these things. I'm an alcoholic. This is my 23rd year of sobriety. So in my sober years, this happened. I mean, I could understand it if it had happened when I was drinking, but whatever it was that happened, happened. And all I know is I saw the children riding into the future on these horses. We have a horse. We had 2 vets. One was a veterinary surgeon, so he put him down. And my only comment to them was, he's 3 years old, I haven't even finished paying for him yet, and you want me to kill him? He had cut the tendon in his hind foot, and it literally just dangled. And, you know, what's a horse with 3 legs? Well, we used the old medicine and we put the poultices on, and he drank all what we know as hound's tongue, sage and yarrow, all the different things that grow out here. And lo and behold, last year he was in the Rose Bowl parade, and he doesn't even have a limp. And this is the horse they told me to shoot. And you know, you don't give up. With his life, there's hope. People say, well, you own a lot of horses. Actually, no, I'm the custodian for a lot of horses. Because if you stop and think, I work for them, they don't work for me. They work for the kids. And my job actually is custodial care. I'm here until this can be all given over to the children. And these young people you see coming in and out of here, they're the ones that are going to take this over. We're not here forever. This will be here forever. And you do it because you care.
Stewards of Earth, what makes us let pollution be out of control? We take no responsibility for it. It must start somewhere, and it starts with you. Some of us will be chosen in little ways to help, whereas many will be vocal and see the flaws of our future. We must make individual effort. The spark of enlightenment is to be thoughtful in everything that we do. Stephen Small Salmon is a shaman and elder of the Flathead tribe. We had followed Stephen to watch him dance in a powwow. The dancers were colorful and magnificent to watch. We met up with him at his home on the Flathead Preserve, along with his lovely wife Juanita, who has her own story to tell.
I was born and raised in southern Manitoba, Canada, right next to North Dakota. And I went to a powwow with my Blackfoot family. I heard his bells coming, because when they walk, you know, you can hear their bells. And he came up behind me. He leaned over and he said, "Hi, my name is Stephen." I had been drawn into the Indian world just reading books and studying and feeling a pull somehow. Met a man there, his name was Alex Skelplock, and he was a Blackfoot elder. And he wanted me to write his story through, you know, he was one of the people like Stephen that was taken away from his culture and his ancestors and his grandparents and thrown into mission schools. They just came and rounded them up like cattle.
But years ago, when the black robes come here, you know, they're called the priests and the sisters. They're the ones that first come here and brought in the religion here to this reservation. And they made them, a lot of people threw their bundles away because they said that was the devil's worship.
He was taken and forced to go to the mission school, the Catholic school in St. Ignatius, because they all had to be educated. And he didn't speak English at all. And then they just cut them off from their language and force them then to speak English. And that's one of the reasons why there's so few fluent speakers left.
If we could teach all our little ones the language, and that would be stronger, you know, because we know our strength is in our language. When you think about this world, you know, it's scary, you know, and it is scary, you know. I look at like the fires we had here, like the winters we used to have here. I remember when I was a kid, it used to get 40 below zero. And even the trees would pop here, you know. Then now it's so warm, it's different, you know. The fires, you know, the changes, you know. Everything has changed, like too many people in this world. You could go all along that lake, you go in the back, there's people just living everywhere. And it's scary, you know. And it's going to get where it's really going to get bad, you know.
There on the Flathead Preserve, we loved the mountain with the waterfall running through it and enjoyed hearing Stephen talk about the love of his homeland.
And there's a lot of plants up there that the Indians use for medicines yet.
Mm-hmm. Like the yarrow we used when you got bit by the wasp.
Yeah, by the wasp, you know.
Yeah.
I used my snot for mine. I remember I got stung right here. I put it on there.
Yep.
You know, that thing never did swell up.
It stops it.
It stops it.
Stops it cold.
That's the way my grandfolks told me.
Yeah.
And I used the medicines yet, you know. And it works, you know.
What is deemed success? Is it riches or luxury, really? Have you seen only happiness love among men who are luxurious? There is some happiness, of course, especially among humans that achieve their success. We all need goals to achieve in any capacity. Hopes, dreams, and then action. Success in life can be far more than monetary success. You can live a rich life in love, or of nature or beauty. You can be rich in life. It is all in the eyes of the beholder. What makes humans feel whole is not so much achievement, but camaraderie or usefulness. Richard Smith is a handsome architect. When Richard was young, he left his homeland for the east coast of America, but found that he wanted his children to have the most beautiful childhood, so he returned to Montana.
I've lived in Whitefish since 1976. I was raised on the Flathead Reservation at Dixon, which is right on the Flathead River, which was the Flathead Salish Kootenai Agency back in the 40s and 50s. My mother, she was sent to a government school. They were raised on the White Earth Reservation in Minnesota. And they were taught to be non-Indians. And when they came back, she was concerned about her kids. So they felt like if we stayed on the reservation, that her kids wouldn't have the best opportunity. Because there were a lot of problems, unemployment and just a lot of problems that she wanted us in a position where maybe we could avoid some of this. I think overall it worked. I don't know where I'd be today. That's my optimism. Things are changing everywhere. For Indians today, there is a lot going on. In Montana, every reservation has a community college, which was not existent when I was down there. I feel very lucky of where I am and how I happen to end up in this situation. I think of it every morning, every evening. And I just count my blessings. Everything has been so amazing. I think, why? I just count my blessings and say, this is such a terrific situation. But I know there have been tough times for others, but my parents have been terrific. And my parents have been amazingly good. That was how they were raised. Like their children were everything. And that's now what's most important for me, is my children.
If used well, compassion will elevate your status as a human faster than any other source of accomplishment. For the children, what do we leave them as it's been our time to care for our planet? What legacy do we leave as individuals, as community servers, as good examples for the future planet caretakers? We come into the Blackfeet Nation. We are coming in to stay at the Teepee Lodge. Daryl Norman and his wife Angelica run the Teepee Lodge like a bed and breakfast. Authentic teepees sitting in an open field. You come to the main lodge for meals and you browse in the art gallery. Daryl is an accomplished artist and also involved in the Blackfoot Buffalo Horse Coalition.
I'm a member of the Southern Piikani tribe here in Montana. I began this business 12 years ago, and it was a very casual business to begin with, and has evolved into now we have one of the only independently owned Native American galleries in Montana, and also our teepee camp that is unique in that there isn't anything like it in the state of Montana and maybe perhaps the United States.
We must gain a conscience. within our short lifespans, those of us who will care for our fellow man, those of us who will light the way to help people serve the earth for the highest good. This doesn't give license to change people and their customs or their pride, but to accept how they are and let them gain self-esteem by your willingness to accept their way of living. My daughter Cheyenne and I enjoy the beautiful and spiritual ranch of Windwalker, owned by Loretta Johnson. We have arrived after a summer monsoon, and it is fresh and lovely. Loretta loves this ranch, and right away you see that she is guardian of a very special place.
When I got here, it felt like this was the place. I didn't know, so I called my whole family, made them come out the next day, and everybody agreed that this was where it was supposed to be. There's burial mounds all over the place. There's some that we know have lots of people in them, and then there's one, for instance, has a halo over the top of it, which in talking to the Native American medicine people and shamans, they say that signifies somebody of great power. There's another rock mound that looks like a bear paw. So we've tried not to move any of the rocks because I think they are sacred places. And we may never know what they completely mean. I first found out about the massacre that happened up on the land with the horses. We were out riding, and I was riding a colt. Came through the ditch, took 5 steps, and bucked me off, broke 8 bones in my shoulder. The cowboys just said, it's a terrible horse, it's a horrible horse. They got rid of my colt. And several months later, we have a lot of movie star horses that have been in a lot of films out here. I was riding behind the movie star horses, and when they came through that same ditch, they stumbled, and I said, something is up here. They came in and they massacred over 6,000 Native Americans. John Peterson's wrote a book on it, but he only put 1 paragraph in. And it's been something that hasn't been spoke of much. It's a really horrible thing that happened. There's been other massacres that I've found out since that happened on the land between different peoples fighting over the energy of the land. There's been lots of people that have, over thousands and thousands of years, that have come to this land. You get to get in touch with that when you're on the land. Burials, I think, help with that. The spiral tree has spirals that go out from it, and then it spirals counterclockwise up to a point, and it's like it's pointing in the sky. There's a prayer stone under it where they used to say the prayers and hold them. Their prayers, they would hold the rock until the prayer was answered. They would hold the rock in their right hand, and you had to eat with your right hand. So you probably, I don't think they said very many prayers that they didn't expect to get answered. It was real important when they sent those prayers adrift.
She has made it into the haven which allows anyone to come and stay here.
I'm the guardian of the land. I get to be here. I'm blessed. Yeah.
Look to the sky and see the faces of your ancestors, the lineage that you are from. Listen to them in the wind. You may think that they are silent, but you look out to the world as they once looked out and feel as though they once felt. They look to you, their future generation. They offer the best of their past knowledge through your earthly presence. You surround yourself with their vibratory energy of who they were. Recall how they stayed strong in the face of adversity. Recall their wisdom and courage. It flows in your veins.